Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Plotlines. I'm your host, Connor. And first, I want to thank all of you. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube today, and I'm just very excited and very, very grateful. Undeserving, but I appreciate you guys subscribing. I have the godfather of Catholic YouTube,
Watching
Steve
Rick and Morty.
Cunningham.
You've been watching Rick and Fawaz too much.
Well, no, they just said it out loud what I had been thinking for a while.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, bud.
The uh the founder and creator of Sensus Fidelium, the YouTube channel, and you're pretty much everywhere online.
That was the idea. I was trying to get it out to everywhere where the people aren't. It's like that line from Babe Ruth when he said about trying to hit it over the fence, and he goes, "I'm going to hit them where they ain't." I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to put it where they are. So
A little different strategy than baseball.
yes,
But so I mean, you were also the inspiration for the new Spiritus TV, which is basically a Catholic YouTube.
yeah. Basically, it was because I got nuked. That was it a year and a half ago, November. What happened was there's you've probably seen the spammers. They people they'll put the logo on. They cut it out and then they come up with some weird long prayer. And anybody knows me knows that ain't me. Not that I don't pray, but I don't sound like that. And they
Yeah.
just copy and paste. And I told people, well, just hit them at report it as spam. Well, they were so many people reported it as spam, and they saw the logo, they saw the name, that they immediately thought it was me. And for some reason, they didn't click the name because if you click that name, it goes to zero and there's nobody there. And I just
Hmm.
woke up and I had these texts come in. Your channel just got new. How's that happen? And I had a friend. There's a friend of mine. Well, he left Google last month, but there's a group inside Google like-minded, and I told him about it. Hey man, what happened? He goes, I'm on it, I'm checking it out right now, and 4 or 5 hours they had it back up. But in the meantime, the Keith and those guys were like, we gotta, they already had it on their idea to do it, and that just made them kick it a little bit faster. And they got a great product out there for, if people say go to Rumble, go to Odyssey. They got better stuff on features in 8 months on Spiritus that all those guys put together. It's just been a great job they got. Now they just need people to help promote them.
Yeah, and I think after I don't have the link in the description, but I'll put up the link after the show, so people can find Spiritus TV. Who knows? I might be on there eventually. I'm very slow on that in that area. I've just started on Rumble as well, which I don't know how I synced up the YouTube channel with Rumble, but for whatever reason, like there's missing, episodes and stuff like that. So I don't really know what's going on with that.
Well, I know BitChute and Odyssey, they will populate your entire channel over to those two.
Hmm.
Rumble, I've never been able. I had to have to individually do. That's why if anybody's on watching on Rumble, that's hey, Steve's had to post on Rumble. Yes, I haven't because it's such a pain in the neck. If I'm uploading 20 or 30 videos a week on Rumble, I have to individually do each one. But on
Hmm.
Spiritus, I can put 30 and then copy and paste the description, the tags, click the thing, let it run.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So there's a much better system of transferring.
Yes, yes. Now, downside if I get nuked, the BitChute and Odyssey will take all that off because it's kind of like a root and it just grabs a net from YouTube and just populates it on BitChute. So if you delete on YouTube, it will delete on BitChute. But you can, if you're not worried about that, just sync BitChute and Odyssey up and it'll automatically populate over to those two. And
Gotcha.
Rumble's good, but yeah, it's just, I'm all a fan. I got it on Gab TV, I got it on Gloria, whatever the people are watching, they're where I like to put it out there.
That's great. Yeah, I mean that's probably why you've been so successful with your work. I mean, is it what's on YouTube? How many subscribers do you have? 240,000 or something like that?
closing in on 250. Yeah, so
Almost 250. Okay.
yeah, like how you did the campaign, a couple for from 1,000. I think we're 300 from 250. So
Hey, that campaign was mostly not me. Uh, but yes, like, exactly. Um, but yeah, so you're also Mr. Divorce from DC. That's,
I'm Southern. It comes in the water down here.
exactly. You interviewed um, one of my favorite, YouTubers, Thomas Woods,
Yeah.
Dr. Thomas Woods. Um, how was that? What was that experience like?
It was. I wish I had more time. He was. What happened was the first. We ended up. We're supposed to do like 2 weeks earlier, and I think he forgot. He was busy. He forgot that would come on, and the next one, I think his other guy forgot to tell him, and then the third one, he was late getting on, and we only had 20 minutes. So I basically went Steve mode. Everyone tells me to slow down. I went, let me talk as fast as I usually can, or faster, to try to get as much info as I can in this, because I ain't getting him on again probably. But it was fun. No, he was one of the first books that I read coming back in. Definitely one of the first videos, Catholic ones, because I was got into politics back in the day, and was watching Tom Woods anyways on things, and then saw the EWTN EWTN one on the Builders of Western Civilization, and I had to get the book, and then I ate that thing up. So it was cool just to be able to sit down and chat with him on that. I have his book on the traditional mass. Um, I got a couple of his Catholic books. Not, I don't agree with everything, like the libertarian part of it, obviously, but I love that he's a great dude, and I'm glad that him and another guy that used to be real good friends have kind of meshed things up and mending things up and getting friendly again. So that's always good to see.
Good. So, but you don't think you'll have him back on? You don't think you'll be able to have him back on in the future?
I could always try if I could find a reason to bring him back on. I would. I mean, same thing with Corbett. I had him on 2 years ago, and I've thought about having him on again. And I'm just like, all right, how can I spend? How can I make this work? And where can I go with it without doing something I've already talked about, in a sense? Because it's just, yeah, sure, I could bring him in, but it's not a big name for the channel. But yeah, so yeah, I would like to have him back on, talk about other things, but just wherever the idea comes up. If the if the brain goes off with a wild hair, and it's like, yeah, let me try that, or the Bang energy drink idea comes up, and oh yeah, I'll reach out.
So, were you a revert or a convert?
Basically revert.
Okay,
You know, punching the time card type deal back in the day.
gotcha. And one of I mean, your biggest videos, from what I could see, are Father Ripperger videos.
Yeah, he's people like him. I don't know what the deal is with him, but people like that guy. Yeah, there's a he's it's yeah, it's good to it's good to see he got good stuff out there, and yeah, no, his people put, you just type his name in. I joke with him saying we need to do a show when he reads the yellow pages and see how many people jump on to watch.
That's like Taylor Marshall just doing anything at this point. I feel like you could say the same thing about both of them. They could basically do absolutely anything, and thousands of people would be watching live, and you'd just be like, "Why are these people here?"
Yeah, you see the chats, probably half of them aren't even listening. I love Father. There were their
Like,
own conversations going on in the background.
how did you manage to get so many priests? Because homilies are probably the backbone of your work. How did you put that together? How did you find these priests? Like, what was the process like?
Oh, I mean, that's it used to go back from the day when I started coming back in. I was working out at the apartment I was at, and I started listening to these sermons while I was doing P90X, and I was in the background. I'm going, oh wow, this is great. It was only about 5 or 6 on there at that time, and it had a link of where it came from, and it was a website that had all these sermons on them, and I started just to listen to them driving because I was in sales at the time, so I would play them in the car. I bought the CDs, listen to them in the car instead of using, because I don't think I didn't know about downloading, so bought the CDs and we're talking the Stone Age time.
Yeah.
Uh, Play the CDs in the car and be able to do that, and I was just blown away with it. And then, well, that was the thing. Genesis of it was that listening, and it was just like, oh man, these are just great. And I stumbled on one of those on the Cristeros. I can't remember what disc it was, but I just remembered when Greater Glory was coming out. Father did one on that. What was that? And it took me a long time to figure out which one it was, and then maybe drop down and figure out the website, and then just all right, how do I put that to video? And at first, I just didn't know any better. I was just like, all right, this is there. I'll just upload it, get more out there. I don't have anybody following, but maybe somebody will be helped by it. Now, just an idea. Looking back, going, man, that was a really stupid idea. It's like nobody was following. What do you think it was going to do? Nobody was listening. Just wasted a lot of time doing that. I mean, it took years, 8, 9 years to get to a 100,000, I think it was. I mean, you get like Jason Whitlock get like 100,000 in a couple of days or a week, or you see all these other guys that start up a channel, they got 100,000 overnight. I'm going, man, it took a decade to get to 100 grand, and maybe I think it took another 4 years, 5 years to get to 200. And anyways, yeah, so that was it. And then there was a parish that was trying to nuke the channel, and it comes to find out that all their priests were on vacation for that weekend. And a friend of mine heard about this conspiracy that was going on, and it was
Wait,
they
how
were
did they try?
conspiring.
How did they try to nuke your channel?
I don't remember why they were trying, but they were going to file some document or whatever. And a friend of mine from Greenville told me about it, and I was like, "How do you know about this?" And I contacted I contacted a friend of mine. I contacted Ryan. Him and I were talking at the time. Well, we always talk, but at the time we were just started to talk, and I was helping him putting his stuff up as well, and promoting his. And he was like, "Well, I can get Father R to call you up and tell him he's all cool with everything you're doing." And the other priests found out about it. They emailed me like, "You're good to go. Do whatever you want." I'm going, "Wow, this is a blessing in disguise." I mean, I'm praying you don't mind consecrating the channel to Saint Anne, which it still is. Is some reason she's a patron of TV. Don't ask me how.
I was gonna
And
say, are you trying to find a man? Saint,
uh,
Saint Anne, find me a man. Have you ever heard that?
no, I think I've heard that before, but I didn't know. No, but yeah, I was running into the Adoration Chapel at the same time, and then afterwards, everything just started falling into place. And then they started contacting. We talked more often, and then after that, priests started emailing and say, "Hey, you want to put this up? You want to?" The Franciscans in England, hey, they contact me on Twitter, and we like what you're doing. You can take everything we have. We go, okay, cool. And I kind of, didn't do it at first, like everyone a brother writes anymore. Let me check this website out, and wow, this is a gold. And they do Saints of the Week, Saints of the Day, which is fantastic to me. And so it's taken about a year. It took about a week to download and convert, and then finally get all the stuff up. And so yeah, no, just now all of a sudden people email me, "Hey, I got a priest that did this. What do you think?" I said, "You asked permission first. Was that okay? I'm not just putting it out." I have to pretty much ask about 6 times. Say, "Did you get permission? Did you get permission?" And how about you had priest email me and let me know that's okay. Uh, and then So right now it's pretty much open, Wild West. Like, hey, just send me whatever you got.
So,
I'll listen first beforehand.
you mean you're not just gonna put it up?
Yeah, no, not everyone is not batting 1,000. There's at least one from everyone that didn't make the cut.
Were,
Just in
were
case.
there's ever were there ever priests that sent you their material specifically,
Oh
or
yeah,
is it okay? Yeah, the Franciscans, right? And the
well, there was a priest in New York, Kentucky, shoot, France. It was Austria did one. I mean,
wow,
I couldn't think. I have to go back and see if I could find them again. But
are they
and I
in?
get so busy, I lose track of who they were to come back and say, "You got another one?" But I'm like, well, if they
Was
want
it
it, they'll come out.
was the Austrian one in German or was it in English?
It was in English, but everything else I've ever seen from them have been in German.
Okay.
Which I'm trying to start a German channel, but after I get done with Garanger, I got an AI reader that can read it, so I'll just do it that way instead of trying to recruit somebody to reading German, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Russian, things like that. I just hit a button.
You're also the only person I've ever heard of who maxed out the amount of, YouTube videos you could upload on YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a max until that day. Yeah, that
D
was a.
did anyone know there was a max until that
There's
day?
no way. There's no way anybody knew there was a max. No one uploads more than 2 a week, much less 100 in a day.
Hey, I'm doing 5 a week now, so
Yeah, okay, 5 solid.
yeah.
But that was when I had a 2-week ban, and so I was still getting the stuff done because if I took a 2-week vacation,
Oh
that would
my.
just been just I would have been bombarded, flooded. And so I just act like nothing changed. I just couldn't upload. And then when the day come to upload, I was like, all right, poop, pop it up. So I have stuff on scheduled out to mid 2024 right now.
Wow. Are you a choleric? Are you, is that your temperament?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you're on it. You're just, are you a workaholic?
Yes, and I tried. I know that's my fault, but yes, it's sports wise too. I would practice for like 6 8 hours a day, and not going for perfection here. So yeah, same thing here. It's bada bing, just keep going, keep going, keep going, and have to tell myself to back away and stop to get away and go play with the kids or something, and maybe do something at night when everyone goes to bed, and then stop. I got to go to bed before the kids get up. So
Were you any good sports-wise? Just
I'm talking to you right now,
no.
people would ask me when I drove Uber, "How good were you?" And I would just tell them, "I'm driving you today," and Uh, I could hold my own. I just didn't know how to eat right and work out right, and pretty much born in the wrong decade for it. But yeah, now looking back, we knew my brother and I would say if we knew how to eat and work out at the same time, we probably would have made it somewhere. But then we'd probably be in hell too. But this looks face be the guy where we're at right now.
Yep, God's plan is always better than the alternative.
Yeah, yeah.
What were your sports that you played?
Baseball and basketball in college.
Oh, okay, in college, a big name university or a small one? No.
It was junior college for basketball. I had a
Oh,
chance
okay.
of walk on to Clemson, but I had 2 knee surgeries, and I remember one time I couldn't get out of the car because it hurt so much, and I was pretty much on I think I took 6 or 8 Advils before and after practice, and, just to get through, and I was like, I just wanna be able to walk in my older years, and hung up start picking up the baseball pill and start throwing that around afterwards, and looking back, man, if I would have practiced, you know, because I don't think I played for 6 years before I got on the college team, and uh,
Wow.
yeah, so if I would have practiced, then I would have at least been decent. But um, no, I just got on and made the best of it as I could, just work, work, work. But wasn't really. What again? When you don't play for 6 8 years and you're playing with guys that played travel ball, I was happy to get on the team, but I wasn't big impact on there. But
Yeah,
right
and
out,
God
went to the
was
tryouts. That was it. Afterwards, not old man's league, Northern League. A buddy of mine goes, let's go to a tryout. I go, let's go to the weaker league. It's like independent league. Yeah, the guy just got released by the Giants coming out in front of me. I'm going, what the? How am I going to do something with him? 6'5", he's throwing gas. Here I am. I need a hurricane wind to get 80. I mean, they're not going to hit me, but they're not going to sign me either.
Rick's in the chat. Practice? We talking about practice?
Yeah, I like bringing up that Allen Iverson line a lot in our shows. For a while, he says something that makes me think of that, and I go, "We're talking about practice, man."
Yeah. Max says, "Congrats on 1,000. Thank you." Uh, Mary says, "Congrats on 1,000 as well." And as well, hi to you, Steve.
Hopefully, we
And
won't get on any topics that will kill that 1,000. So,
Rick says, "Congrats on 1,000." Thank you, all of you. I really appreciate it. It's I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for the support I've gotten and the loyal viewers and listeners. Because I probably would have given up almost a year ago or something like that. Though I'm a little choleric. I'm slightly choleric, so persistence is in my genes as well.
Yeah, just never look at the numbers. I was talking to my brother about that a couple months ago, talking about all these guys that get like 30,000, 50,000 for the sexy titles and the sexy content and things like that. And going, just 500 people saw a video on prayer or a saint, and it was a very solid video on it, or heard the Garnier for the first time, and going, that's 500 people that I want on my side right there. If there's 30,000 people that want the sexy stuff, they ain't ready for this stuff then. So just keep pounding. We say here in Carolina, keep pounding away.
Yeah. Well, your videos are much more productive probably than mine, in the spiritual area at least.
Oh, you're young. You can, by the time you get to my age, you probably do a better job of what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, kind of my focus is the intersection of fiction, faith, history, and politics. That's kind of where all those things come together.
Uh-huh.
And because you're doing a fantastic job with giving people a spiritual outlet with all those sermons as well. And though some of your content with the Resistance podcast is has some similarities as well. What made you first do the Resistance podcast?
Well, again, because I was always into the politics idea, anyways, and my wife was telling me you could blame anything good on it. You could blame it on her. She wanted a website. You need to get a website. So it's like, okay, well, we got a website. Actually, a guy, the Google guy, bought me the website, and I was like, what am I going to do with a website? I got a YouTube channel. And what am I going to do? Put the videos on the website? And then one of the Redemptorist priests told me about their newspapers that we just stick with piety. I go, all right, that's it. That's what I'm going to turn the website into. So some force of piety, and 11,000 links later, man, hopefully that's what it is, which is getting a facelift right now. And then she was telling me, you got to do a podcast. I said, okay, all right. Well, what do I do it on? And she was telling me about, you tell me about this news, you tell me about politics, what's going on, do something like that with a Catholic spin on it. I said, okay. And then so I was thinking about it, and I'm a big Terminator fan. So again, when I first saw you, I go, Connor. First thing I met, John Connor, and that's how my brain works. And so I put on the Resistance. I go, all right, well, that's Terminator Salvation with John Connor with the Christian Bale version. And I was like, all right, we'll go from there. You are the Resistance, and go straight into what we're talking about. And then that led to going with, I would always ask other people like Brother Andre or someone, hey, what do you think about doing an interview with this guy on this topic? Or reach out to somebody, what do you think about doing this? Because there was all these guys doing interviews, but it wasn't stuff I was 100% like, I want this guy. What about this guy? And with that podcast idea, it was, all right, well, forget about it. I won't have to ask others. I'll just do it myself. And it's that whole GK line of anything we're doing is we're doing badly. You got this moron talking to people, and it's been a work in progress. I'll say that, but it's been getting the topics I think that I like and want to get out there more. You're not going to have a Catholic guy do a podcast on secession. Not have it. I did 2. I would have done 3, but I can't get Professor Livingston to call back, and maybe 4 if I think about getting McClanahan to come on. So there's more on the ideas like that. But it's one of those things. All right, well, these guys are talking about this. I want to get on something different and not be like what the other guys are doing. Want to be completely different on things. They're talking about the papacy or the bishops or things like that. I want to talk about the true, good, and beautiful, or stories that nobody knows about that we have that are good and great. And because we're always in a crisis. Someone tells me there's a crisis in church. I'm going, great. There's books literally named that from the 60s and 50s, 1800s. Everyone's read about Christ in church. Grab a number. What are you going to do about it? It's like, but it goes into sports when people are like, yeah, well, this is, complaining. It's that Jocko line, excuses or lies. And all right, coach said we have a problem. All right, well, how do you get by it? How do you maneuver past the problem on hand? How do you overcome objections? How do you sales? How do you break through adversity? It's you can either go in the corner and cry about it, or you can bust your butt to fix it, work, and win. So one of those things. I'm all about the convinced that if we get all the Catholics, burning with zeal, who cares what they do in Rome? You will convert your state, you'll convert your area just by that. But we go around frowning, going, yeah, God, this stinks. This sucks. This guy's terrible. Look at this heretic. No one comes in. No one buys that product.
Yeah, that's true. And if there's anybody that does a good job of selling Catholicism to the masses, it's you.
try,
Um,
try to. That's I'm trying. Trying my best. It's what was a not Tim. Yeah, Tim Staples had a line of, "We're not in management. We're in sales." So yeah.
I do think you mentioned a Catholic YouTuber doing something on secession. I do think Eric Sammons might do something like that as well.
I hope so. I know him and I were on. Was it with you? Yeah, we were.
Yeah,
And he mentioned it, and and I think they just put an opinion piece out. I saw that. I was like, good. More people talk, especially in the Catholic sphere, because I don't think there's a lot of Catholics that you see that are a bunch of nationalists or that got duped into Lincolnianism and think that the Bill of Rights is from here to the ice war of Hoth, and everything's we just elect somebody in D.C. next year, we're going to be all good. So yeah, I'm glad that someone else other than me, because people respect Eric probably way more than I, so that's great.
I don't know. I'm not sure how to measure the respect each of you have. I think you guys are probably are respected very well amongst many. But yeah, I do. It was crazy that you guys were on at the same time on that Catholic election podcast. And I was like, oh wow, they're two peas in a pod.
Yeah,
Like,
I loved it. I thought it was great. We could have gone for hours before he left.
I know, and he was probably regretting the whole, like, I think he could only stay for like 30 minutes or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
So like, so it was like he was coming in. I have to go after 30 minutes, and then you guys like have a bonding moment and that sort of thing. Though I don't really I don't know where I stand specifically on stuff like that, but I am much more open to stuff like national divorce, and I'm what I call a Catholic pragmatist. Whatever is good for the faith is where I'll flock to regarding politics.
Maybe I'll see if I can. If you want, I could try to get you hooked up with Professor Livingston. He can do a history course on this, and ties it all the way back to the French Revolution. That was the
Okay.
time when everything went from kingdoms and like the Kingdom of Naples and things like that,
Hmm.
nationalized into the Italy. Now we're all Italians. Now we're not now. So then after that we came. Oh, we're now all Americans. So you can tie from the French Revolution all the way up to here, and he does a great job doing that. He's Eastern. He's an EO, but he's married to a Catholic, and the Abbeville Institute is all Catholic, but him.
So
So
he's just bound to come over.
oh yeah, we haven't talked, but he's got that line of uh, we got to break away and then convert it. So I'm like, yeah, this if I can get some Catholics saying we got to break up, but then convert the states, I think we'd have a winning. We got a winning formula right there.
This is perfect for you. Losers complain, winners train.
Yeah, that's darn sure.
But that's literally you. That you're training. You train, and then you train everyone else.
There was a
That's what.
there was a line from Larry Bird we had at the door. It goes, I made I would there was somewhere there's a kid shooting 1,000 shots. I'm making sure I shoot one more. Yeah.
Nice. Also, your work with Ryan. You mentioned your work with Ryan Grant. Have you guys been friends for a long time? Is that where your work came from?
Yeah, I mean, I stumbled on his site. What was it? I don't remember the year, probably what 2009-ish, 10. No, well, I started channel 2012. So it's about 2014, 2015. And I can't remember how I stumbled on it. I think I was typing up might have been 9/11 stuff. I don't know because he has a podcast on that.
Oh,
And
he does?
yeah. He's
What podcast?
three. It's on his Athanasius Contra Mundum site. And
Oh, okay.
check out the podcast. Go in the earlier ones. It's like one of the first three. And I started listening to his other stuff that he had on there. I'm going, this, and then saw the books that he was trying to pump out. I'm going, this was good. But it was one of those things that every quote unquote trad has the same problem on this. We put good content out, but we're terrible at marketing and nobody helps each other out. I mean, I joked with I joked on the last show about the Unite the Clans line about, oh yeah, these guys that say Unite the Clans never unite any clan. It's all about themselves. You don't see anybody posting other people's books. Hey, you got to buy this book. It's all about their books. It's never all these other ones. I hate that. I don't think you look at my promotions up there. I got all these businesses that's other people. I want to help
Mhm.
out. If we team up, that's uniting. We strengthen the base and things like that. If we want to be ourselves, just go out and say it. We want to just do it ourselves. And so he asked me, he goes one day, he goes, why are you helping? I go, because I know how it is to have a good product and nobody out there to help push. And then because like I said, he was having a good product and I was out there pushing him out, get people to buy and think. Now look at him, people and they recognize his name. Not saying that I was 100% me, but I had a good platform at the time and was able to get that out and put his name out there and say, hey man, send me some more stuff. I'll get it out there and we'll draw more. I'll bring you down to, I'll get something. I'll get the parish, convince them to bring you down to do a lecture. And, just the little things, pounding the paint to try to get the name out there. And just like anybody else needs to do it, just giving them a hand. And yeah, we've been talking since, almost daily since then.
I think our the upcoming generation, or at least people maybe I don't know, 35 and younger, are better at helping each other out. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've noticed that any change.
Well, like your group, the group you hang out with, Angela and Rob and Anthony and all those guys, and you guys are always helping each other, promoting each other's stuff, sharing each other on each other's shows. I mean, uh, even it was the meeting of Catholic shows and all that whole cinematic universe of the group with you guys. You guys are all you guys got each other's backs, and that's great to see. And you're right about it's you guys are about the same age and things like that. But you guys are talking to each other, helping each other, promoting each other, showing each other shows, coming up with other ideas. It's great. So yeah, there's a different mindset in the youth movement for sure.
Well, I don't think Anthony's youth.
No, he's a bum. He's an outlier. I don't know why. He just
Anthony just somehow got somehow snuck in.
he's his own species.
He's a New Yorker
Yes, yeah. We don't think kindly of them people.
in prison, right? He's in
Yes,
prison.
he definitely is. Yes.
So one of my favorite episodes on Sensus Fidelium with Ryan was something he did on was it Beckett? He reviewed Beckett with, who was the historian that he reviewed with?
I have to look it up again. I know he did it, but I don't remember who he
I
did
think
it with.
it's something Campbell or something.
Philip, was it Philip? Yeah.
Okay, I think that's who it is.
Yeah, Philip's awesome. Philip's a great Phillips. If you check out, go to Ryan. I haven't put it up. He asked me a couple years ago if I wanted to. Shoot, I was in Denver when he did that. So that was what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Him and Philip did a two-parter on medieval times. And it's one of those. Oh yeah, it's one of those that they got tired of hearing everyone talk about how great it would be if we went back into medieval times. He goes, let's do a show on how it really was. It's kind of like, yeah, just kind of like smack some people around saying, oh yeah, this is how it really was. And kind of like we were joking about all the trans. I got upset about the Florentine fireworks. Yeah, you probably saw that.
Oh yeah, I just wish people would do some checking.
Just,
Ever.
yeah. So it's just one of those things like, 1,000 years ago. And So Brian
Me,
was saying, man, if they would listen to this, they would,
I w-
they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. And yeah, so if anybody's out there, check out it's about 4 hours long combined, 5 hours. And they really hit on all these topics. And it'd be like, wait a minute, maybe it wasn't as good as we thought it was.
I wish I could find that clip of the Florentine. Um, I don't know if you have it handy or anything like that. Um,
I would have just to type it, find it. I know a couple priests had us for it.
I know Father V uh, commented on it, and said it was a traditional.
I just sent it to you. It's in your direct
Oh,
message.
okay, perfect. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up so we can. Oh, let's see. I was not prepared for this.
Yes, I go anywhere. So that's
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this. I really, I never know where certain conversations are gonna go.
I don't even know
Um,
where my conversation is going.
okay.
And then the outside has an altar and it shoots it right back in.
Really? Oh
Oh
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. How I think what people's immediate reactions were because that seems modern, like in the sense of like it seems well done, like technologically. Does that make sense?
I mean, I don't know how they practice that. I just sent you the altar. That's the outside view, and you look at the altar out there, and like they didn't make that this weekend. That's been around forever, and it looks like thousands of people are sitting outside. I mean, that's some cool stuff.
Also, for whatever reason, it was considered sensitive.
Really?
Like, yeah, when you send it to me, it was labeled as sensitive.
Wow.
Um,
I guess when you blow stuff up, I guess it gets that way. But no, it's just cool. I mean, I saw that on Rick Steves. You ever seen Rick Steves' European thing?
no.
Look at that thing. Look at all the people out there. That goes off for 50 seconds of just shooting stuff off. It's fantastic.
It sounds very American in some sense.
Yeah. Hey, you don't think of fireworks for everyone else overseas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we just took the what is it, the King's Day or whatever, and we just instead of setting out fireworks for that, we set off fireworks for the 4th of July.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we kind of stole it. It's not it wasn't new for us.
No, no.
Um
We didn't we didn't create everything that. But no, it's just one of those things we don't know. I remember having in Charlotte we have a Eucharistic Congress. It's huge. Probably about 100,000 people show up to it, and it's free for everyone in the diocese. Whereas, like the national one that's going on in Indianapolis is, you got to pay a big, three, $100 ticket or whatever. If you want a booth, it's 5,000 just to get in. Here, it's $100. And anyway, somebody come up to the table a couple years ago and just complaining about everything. Just, oh, this is terrible. I hate what's going on. The Pope is this is going on. I go, question, madam, have you ever heard of the Cadaver Synod? No clue. Have you ever heard of the pornocracy? No clue. We explained a couple things to her, and she was, man, and her husband was like, thank you. She's been off her rocker losing about how bad things are. And it's good to show that it's been bad before. I go, yeah, what do you think Peter Damien wrote the book? What do you think he just wrote a book just to write a book? Says, you know what? I'm going to write about sodomy. There's nothing going on for it, but I got some time on my hands. He's upset about what's going on.
People don't just write people don't write about what's bad because the bad thing isn't happening. It's because the bad thing is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And saints have been writing about what bad things are happening forever.
Yeah, there's Alphonsus writes in his letters about when the Pope died. He bilocated for that. But anyways, they asked him about the new Pope, he goes, "I don't think there's a bishop alive worthy to be the next Pope." just sit down, calm down, everyone just relax. We've been through it before. It's just now we got 24/7 news coverage on Twitter.
Well, we have such bad understanding of history. No one learned history. Uh, seems like in uh, generations uh, going back for a while. I mean, when I was growing up, we started the first religious group we ever learned about was the Puritans.
Uh-huh.
And that was in the context of like the first Thanksgiving, which isn't the first Thanksgiving, which is, big lie, of course, classic. But just that, like, that's the first understanding of religion that we have. And I was at a Catholic school.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
No,
uh,
we did. My wife and I went down to New Mexico when we were still in Denver. She wanted to see the stairs, and I told some friends we were going, and I think I put it up on YouTube that we were headed, and people were responding back to me. So you had to check out the missions. I had no clue, and so we get there and start marking off where we're going to go. And I had this plan of, I will go here, here, and here. We'll finish with this. And I look at what these missions are going. All right, scrap that idea. So went all the way to the west. I think it was St. Stephen's, and it's 4 hours. It's a 4 hour video. We literally videoed half the missions we went to, and these are just huge stuff. And in 3 days, went to as many as we could. And I asked the last priest at San Francisco at Taos about the martyrs from the revolt, and he looked at me and goes, "You know of them, man? Nobody remembers these guys. They ended up taking them out of they used to be underneath. Two of them used to be in Taos underneath the main altar, and they moved them out to they put them on a hill. It's called Mount Martre. It's a little mountain, a little hill that they have a cross on. Nothing big. People usually just walk around. It's kind of like a trail anymore, but it's supposed to be dedicated to these guys because nobody thinks about these guys anymore. There's like 40 Franciscans that were just killed on this day in the Pueblo revolts. But yeah, we went through all this, and people were texting me up afterwards from New Mexico going, "This was the best, historical lesson. I never heard this stuff, and I live in New Mexico." And I'm like, man, there was some cool stuff. We could have spent a week at each of these pueblos, and we wouldn't learn. We were just by sightseeing, like Old Santa Fe. Oh man, it was beautiful. New Santa Fe, hideous. Old Santa Fe, beautiful.
Shocking. The old is beautiful, and the new looks like probably looks like a construction site or something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is basically where Anthony works. So he's just surrounded by bad looking stuff.
He doesn't work. He tweets. He doesn't work.
That's true.
People he works.
That's true. He doesn't. That's true. He does not work. I need evidence for that, and I don't think I'll get any. But anyways,
But you're right. Nobody wants to learn history. Plus, you got to will. You got to want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. Mostly.
But yeah. So what's interesting though is, have you ever heard of the Father Baptist series?
No.
So it's mystery novels written by Dr. William Biersack.
Okay.
He's a music professor at, I think, UC Berkeley. I think.
Was he good friends with Cologne? Wasn't him and
yeah. So he wrote a bunch of mystery novels. That it just your story about like the moving of these saints to this hill, made me, it has some similarity to one of the stories. Anyways, it's a great series. If you ever get a chance, you should check them out. But if anyone's looking for like a good detective series, it's a great one.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I love talking to or listening to Charles because he gets into that stuff. I mean, how many people know about the San Patricios? I mean, that's a cool story right there. Uh,
Wait, I don't know what.
oh, the San Patricios. There's a movie. It was actually I interviewed the guy that wrote the book,
Hmm.
and ended up he's in Guadalajara, and Tom Barrington, actor, contacted him asking him about doing a movie for the book on the book. And that's how that came to be. But anyway, it was these guys when back in those days when the Irish came over, they were constricted to fight for the U.S. military. And
Yeah.
these guys, the Irish, that was in the war against Mexico, and they were the,
Oh.
the artillery. And they look over, and it opens up just like the book does. Uh, he walks into the office. They asked the general about permission to hear mass, sir. And permission denied. And you read the book, goes in more into it. They denied them reading the Catholic Bible. They were denied them doing this. They just denied. They forced Protestantism on these guys. And one of the infantrymen looks over and goes. They see the bell. They hear the bells. They see the church. They see priests. They see nuns walking on the other side, going. Methinks we're on the wrong side. They are our brothers. We're aiming at the churches. We're Catholics. We can't aim at those churches. And they defected and ended up becoming a uh, huge strength for the Mexican military against the U.S. They were incredible artillerymen, and they ended up at the end of it. They branded him the leader. He still walked around. They got busts of these guys down in Mexico. They hung the majority of them while tell them, so you lost, and here's our flag going up, and we're going to hang you for the treason that you did. And they're not technically martyrs for the faith, but I mean, in a sense, they could be. I mean, they hate
Yeah.
the American hated the faith for these guys, so it was an
Yeah.
anti-Catholic time.
It's definitely probably slightly indirectly
Right.
martyrdom. Uh, I don't think the Mexican government at that time very Catholic.
That was at least at the covers of it. I don't know how good it wasn't what they had in the Cristeros in terms of the government there, but I think
Sure.
the foundations were getting laid at that time. Charles might know a little bit more on that, especially the professor Michael. Was it Riley? Riley was the main guy. John Riley. Um, but it could be at least the foundation was getting laid at that time.
And it's a movie. What is it? The movie again?
One Man's Hero. Actually, it's on Spiritus TV right now. If you go down to the
Oh,
movie section, One Man's Hero. It's
okay.
Now it's very loosely based on the book, just like any other book. Jurassic Park is much better read than the movie, so it's the same thing on this. If you read
Who
the
wrote
book,
the book?
watch the show. Do what?
Who wrote the book?
Professor Michael. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the interview I did with him.
Oh, okay.
I can't. Michael's his first name. I can't think of his last name. But he's still a professor in Guadalajara.
What's your interview called so people can find it?
San Patricios.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just type in San Patricios on Sensus Fidelium, you'll run into it. It got banned from YouTube for a couple months, and it came back on.
This seems interesting. They have busts of them behind the town hall station, Sydney, Australia.
That's amazing. I did not know they'd be in Australia, but
That's crazy.
I wonder how. I wonder why. Maybe some of them might have gone out there at the end of the book, and you kind of see it in the movie. But their goal is to get to Veracruz
Hmm.
in Mexico. Obviously, True Cross. They heard about it. Listen, we're going there. Uh, very very devout Catholic guys, and apparently there's a lot of O'Reillys and Indian redheaded Mexicans in those areas, but. Yeah, I mean, you can still type on Google and find the bus. I didn't know about the Australia thing. That's pretty cool.
That's crazy. It sounds a little bit like the Zouaves and all that. There's a lot of interesting stories. One of the things is like, so I had a period where I wasn't interested in history as much, especially modern history. Really bored me for a long time because everything just seemed to get less. I guess you could say romantic or dramatic. Like like it seemed like all of the evil took over. There was like good and evil wasn't clearly defined as well as I think it was previously, at least in the way we tell history. But people like Charles Coulomb and Ryan Grant and others who have helped sort of show where the faith is throughout modern history as well, uh, have really opened my eyes to that kind of stuff and really invigorated my love of history.
Oh yeah, I remember Charles. I think it was in Pilgrim's Empire. He talks about the when Louisiana, with the Louisiana Purchase, when Louisiana went to the United States, which was illegal for Jefferson to do, but he didn't care. He did it anyways, and he admitted to it. Uh,
At least he admitted.
uh, that's one reason why the North was wanting to succeed. Northeast wanted to succeed because Jefferson was doing that.
Mm,
And anyway, he writes about how the Cajuns saw the flag going down and they were crying because it was going down and the U.S. flag was going up. And like, you just think about it, why were they crying? And then you think about it, well, they were losing their Catholicism. And
yeah.
yeah, there's some stories like I'm trying to do the history of each state. I got the Southwest on. It was cool. Just read about how the faith came into each state and what did those bishops do at those times. Like the first bishop of Colorado was riding all over the place on horseback to see all this, the flock in the entire state is because most don't want to travel in their cars, much less get on a horse and do that and say mass on a back of a buggy. Man, these one of those things. Just like it's cool with like the St. Augustine mission when you had. I was telling a guy the other day about the word Seminole comes from that time period, which the Florida State Seminoles picked up on it. The nickname Seminoles is there's a I can't remember the general in South Carolina who hated Catholics went down to the mission in St. Augustine and St. Augustine and killed the priests and killed the priests, killed the shepherds, the flock was scattered, and the Indians started wandering around. They didn't know where they were going, and they literally called those Indians Seminoles, wanderers, because they
Hmm.
had no place to go. And that's some. How did you get the Florida State Seminoles? I mean, if you look at the Seminole name and tell someone about that, I bet most of them would have one. They had no clue where that came from, and they would never think it was a Catholic, background or a root for
Yeah.
that. Just little things like that, It's
Yeah.
it, it's cool. It's cool to see those things or hear about it. Or there's a parish about 15 minutes north of here. It's like it's the oldest church in the state of North Carolina that's still around. It's fourth oldest in total. And I didn't even know that Belmont Abbey was made in the image and likeness of Chartres, which is cool before they gutted the inside of it. And but there's an old mission. It's an Irish parish, and there's a Civil War story with that. I mean, and it probably holds 25, 30 people in there. And you go look in the back behind the altar, that's where the priest would stay. And he lived on a cot. It was literally it's still there. It's not like he left it. It was just a simple cot. He had a couple, like a little stool to read or write or anything like that. And it's the middle of the sticks. And you're like, going, man, this, the families got together, built that area. Everyone that's dead is from that area. Well, came over from Ireland, but it lived in that area.
Mhm.
Think locally, act locally. It's really cool to see the old school stuff on the old side of things like that.
Yeah. That's great. One of my I think my the best, or I don't know if it's the best, but it's my favorite uh episode on Sensus Fidelium, and that is the I think it's Michael Davies Vendée Radio, or not Vendée Radio, the War of the Vendée, that's what it is.
Yeah,
uh
that's solid. And I
how'd
think
you get that?
it's on keepthefaith.org. Um, I think the Remnant, if you get the book that the Remnant sell, it's pretty. By my I think they do sell, but Michael Davies wrote a book, which is pretty much word by word that lecture series. So if you find the Vendée book by Michael Davies, you have that MP3 now.
Okay. Well, but it's got to be longer than that, right? No.
Well, because he does take some time to make some comments during his lecture, but it's
No.
literally I could look at that book while I was doing it. Well, I redid it a couple years later, but I have the book. I'm going, he's literally reading this. It's almost like an audiobook, but with his commentary in between too. It's really It's really cool if you have the book and watch that at the same time or listen to it to hear both.
Wait, is the video longer than the book or no? No, is the book
Actually,
long?
I don't know. Well, it depends on how fast you can read the book. It's only
Well,
about 40 pages. It's not a big book.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I bet there's a bigger book on that subject.
there is. Notre Dame has one. I got it. They translated it or republished it for the first time. I was bugging them because I can't remember. Somebody was talking about it. I think it might have been from that documentary that Daniel did, Roterbond, or yeah, I just butchered his last name on the documentary on the Vendée that he did, and because he has a book, they were talking about using a book from Notre Dame, and it's I haven't I'm only on like page 30 because other things came up and I haven't kept going, but I know a professor up in Notre Dame, so I might try to see if I can get him to do a show. But I'll send you the link for the book.
Okay.
It's probably about yay big and it's very detailed. And from what I understand, it's one of the best books on the topic, and it's originally in French, obviously. But yeah, there's some other books out there. It's just it's hard to find them.
Yeah, you gotta dig.
Mhm.
Um, Brick says, "Congrats on 1,000. Thank you." This is interesting. Mac's family's been here forever. His great grandfather was baptized by the first bishop in the United States.
Carol,
Yeah,
he was baptized by Carol.
I
You know
would
how
say,
Carol became bishop? You probably heard that from Cologne too. Probably brought that
isn't
up.
it? He had to go to England to get baptized, or not
No,
baptized, made or sorry, ordained a bishop. He had to go to
we
England.
probably did have to do that, but no, it was him and Franklin were walking
Hmm.
up to Quebec to get the Canadians on the side of the American Revolution, and so they walked. And he said that the word is that they never spoke religion the entire time, and Franklin recommended him as the bishop because he didn't speak religion to him the entire time. Like, hey, that's I don't know if we Google
That
Amazon comments would have liked that one.
That's just set the let's set the stage for the future of the American church.
Yes. Solange Hertz has a book, Star Spangled Heresy, that's great on that topic. I've read a couple of pages to people, and I go, "What year?" And they're like, "Oh wow, 1986." I go, "17." So right at the start is like that.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's a messy history, but as so many things are, but specifically the United States seems a little messier. At
Yes,
least,
unfortunately, yes.
you know,
It could have gone the other way. I mean, Georgia was created as a buffer state because the Catholics were in Florida and they didn't want the Catholics moving up the coast. So they moved it, they put Georgia there and they forced them to go along the Gulf Coast. You have the Franciscans in Mexico going through Texas and the Southwest. Uh, yeah, I was in North American Martyrs in the Northeast. So it was almost like all over, and except they didn't want it. The Puritans were doing everything they could to keep them out of the colonies. I mean, shoot, Maryland, it was illegal to hold office to be a Catholic. And who was John Carrollton was the richest man in the state of Maryland, richest man in the colonies, couldn't run for office because he was Catholic. And that was, even we talk about the Carrolls. I mean, he was brother Carroll of Bishop Carroll, and then his cousin
yeah.
was the one that was the Freemason that sold DC the land to the government. And there was a great I forget the guy name who wrote the book. It was Cicero's The Last Cicero, I think is the name of it. It's all about John Carroll of Carrollton and Charles Carroll of Carrollton. I'm sorry, my apologies. And he talks about they were wanting to repeal a bill, and they have this huge group of guys dragging a coffin which had the bill in it, and they strung it up outside the governor's mansion and proceeded to shoot at it for a couple hours. Shocking, and they left it hanging on his tree. And shockingly enough, the bill never got passed.
Yeah. Well, so how happy are you with how Census Fidelium turned out?
Well, there's no thing of where I thought it was going to be because I never would have expected 100,000, much less 200,000, much less people recognize me at conferences. I'll be at a conference in Raleigh and people go, "You're actually at the table." I go, "Yeah, I do that. I don't have people. It's me." Um, it's cool that it's really cool that it's been helping so many people. The best parts are the emails and comments of someone saying that this helped them convert them or bring somebody into the faith or things like that. So yeah, that's the most uh, obviously the best. It keeps me going because sermons keep coming in. I'm going, all right, well, let's keep pounding away, see what it's fishing, see what we can fish them in. Well, wait for even bigger bites and to try to get a bigger bite. Maybe that whale will come and uh, yeah, we'll tally up at the end on Judgment Day, see how good it does at the end. But yeah, it's amazing. And then the website, I mean, we're just doing this maintenance. I never thought I'd have a website for this thing. And so many people have contacted me going, where's the meditation? Where's this? I've been using this for a while. And I'm going back in my mind going, I didn't know anybody was even looking at it. So
Yeah.
no, it's amazing to see. And yeah, it's cool to see where we'll go from here.
Well, thank you on behalf of everyone for your work. I think, like you said, people have benefited greatly from it. And you won't fully understand how much how much influence you've had on people, you know, until the end.
Yeah, man, it's I mean, even if it's just one, it was all worth it. But even it's kind of like the hair club for men. It's not only am I the president, I'm a client too because it's helped me out big time. And I mean, here's a controversial one. I've even had good stuff come from TC Traditionos Custodes. I've had there's fruits on the channel thanks to that. So
What do you mean specifically? What are you referring to?
well, yeah, because of TC, we're in my area, we lost the tritium. Okay, so again, it goes back to the idea of to go in the corner and cry about it, or what we're going to do about it. So,
Mhm.
for a priest friend of mine, he's Byzantine Ukrainian, right? And he comes up and says, "Come to mind, it's pre-4th century. don't go to don't go to the 62 week meeting." And I go, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." And so I went to his first time, and we were blown away by the tritium that they had, and looked up more stuff. And then I found other parishes that did good sermons on this, and started putting their stuff. Found Father Abernathy, asked him, "Hey, you cool if I put some of your sermons up? Because they've been really really good stuff." And he used to be at the St. Philip Neri Oratory. Now he went all Byzantine to the, and he's got a website, Philokalia Ministries, which if you don't know about it, go to it. I helped this guy out too. I think he's got 6 supporters, and he can got 500 downloads, but he's got like 6 people helping him. And I mean, he's talking about the John Cassian conferences, does like Divina, Lectio Divina with it, John Climacus Ladder of Divine Ascent, which is that icon right there. I read that a decade ago and blew me away. And so guys like that I found just gold, and people have written me going, "This is amazing." Just the mindset of the Western mindset added in with the Eastern. It's kind of the two wings to strengthen us even more. And in a sense, he's helped me out greatly from just prayer life to how to read, how to just get through the day. And I'm so again, that's a big fruit. A bad thing in our mind happened. What do we do about it? And I was like, all right, well, this is gold that I found because of that. So in my mind, I'm going, TC is not a bad thing. We will win at the end and everything's going to get restored. But what are you going to, in between times, you can either find gold and come grow and become better out of it, or we can go sulk and complain and yell and, call people names and things like that and the other. So I found gold through it. And hopefully, not hopefully, I know people that have contacted me saying just finding that stuff has helped them out tremendously.
Well, come on. We want to just kidding. We want to complain. We want to rant. We want to have dramatic rants about it.
I just can't do it.
So you went to Eastern Catholics or Eastern Catholic rite for Triduum. Was that the next week?
That was yeah,
Like was
that was the next week because was it yeah, that was the next week because we didn't know that it was going to be complete. We were trying for 3 or 4 weeks here to get it back, and we finally heard about this group I'm in now here is the landmass community out here, which they kind of kicked me out because I corrected one of the head guys for writing a terrible blog post, and they didn't like it. So anyways, they said the bishop said no, we're not going to do it because of TC. But I was like, all right. So what people were asking, what are we going to do? And I thought about driving to another diocese for Tritium because we don't have a ICK or traditional or a fraternity here. the diocese here wants to put the traditional mass in every parish. And stop me. Do you know anybody that doesn't like that idea? Because the trads here don't like that idea. I'm going, that's our goal. We
What?
want it in every parish. We actually have a diocese
I
that
don't know.
wants to do it in every parish.
And they don't want to do that?
They want their own. They just want their one own. I'm going,
What?
well, what do you want? And I'll ask, where do you want it? You want it that in your backyard? Because that's not happening. Do you want it at this one parish? Because that's not happening. Do you want it 40 minutes away? Because are you going to move? You're not moving. So what do you want? How would you just work to help try to work with these guys? Because they want to do this, and you're not wanting to do that? I'm confused.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so it goes
I
back
don't.
to sometimes we just can never be happy.
Well, yeah, because misery loves company.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we gotta bring everybody down with
Uh,
us.
uh, yep.
So yeah, but you're not bringing us down. You and your priests and you're doing as much as you can to try and bring us up, to raise us up.
I'm trying not to sing a song, some Aretha Franklin song right now. I was
Yep.
like with Charles and I, we should have came up with a CD for all the greatest hits because him and I would just sing back and forth every so often, just break out in song.
Well, yeah, that sounds great. I would love to see that on Spotify.
We got
The
Enoch. For a while, takes care of that.
Well, no, but we need, Enoch's a rapper. We want ballads from Steve and Charles.
You want bad karaoke from Steve and Charles.
Well, we
Get us on the Catholic voice.
we can only get. Can you imagine the Catholic voice?
Uh, no, I actually can't because they're
Or just like every podcaster has to be a part of it.
I'd win.
I'd give you a run for your money.
I'm very confident. I'm confident that now there's a couple guys that probably came from the same background. I used to joke that used to want to drive to a traditional parish and just start blasting Tricky, Run DMC, just scandalize everybody.
Could you see Anthony on stage though?
Oh, yeah, definitely go after Anthony. No, I could see Anthony on stage, and he would. I don't know what he would do.
Who are the judges in this? Who should be the judges?
I guess for a while, it's right the bat because he's got a was it double platinum already CD going. Who would be? He could be the Simon.
Really? I feel like he wouldn't be as critical. He's too.
Oh, he could be he could have some fun with it. Well, take that back. Yeah, well,
He's too kind. He's too
Simon not
gentle.
much with Joker. That shows my age. I'm going back to the original. Was it American Idol? Who would be a good Simon? I guess Cologne. Could Charles be? Charles could be a good Catholic Simon for Catholic American Idol or Catholic Voice.
We need an English guy. We need an English guy who can like rip people apart.
I'm sure there's some out there. Then
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
who would be Paula? You'd have to find a Paula.
Oh, this is hilarious. Eric Sammons could be as Simon. I don't know. Taylor Marshall could, I feel like, rip people apart too if he wanted to.
Does he have that? Does he have that personality for like the Simon thing to tear somebody apart? I don't see him being that way.
Like,
I don't know.
Like if he decided, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like if he went in with the mentality, I feel like he could.
Okay. Mm.
But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe Eric would be better at that. I don't know. Somebody would be good at that. Yeah. Anyways, that's I think that's where we're gonna end it there. Thank you, Steve, for coming on. This was the Catholic the Catholic voice or whatever. Nope, this was Plotlines. I'm not sure what this became at the end.
No, so you're gonna blame send all hate mail to me.
Well, I don't think we'll get just taken off of YouTube. So
It's a very safe show. Yes, very safe.
Yeah, I think this was it was a victory on that level. But Steve, thank you for everything you've done. If anybody has any questions, uh, we'd be happy to,
Speak now or forever
respond to
hold your
some.
peace.
What?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Exactly. Yes. Um, People are just saying, great show. Uh, if you say so. I'm a bad judge of content, especially when it's my own.
Oh, no one likes hearing that. Someone I doing the Garage redos, and I have to listen to myself speak back to for Holy Week, and I'm like, oh, that was so hard. It's cringeworthy.
Yeah, I have to put myself on like double speed, but to listen to myself like that. Also, please, everyone, please, before we go, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Join Discord, join Telegram. I'm just getting Telegram going as well. So I think the link for that was in the top of the chat. So, and then I'll be adding it to future videos as well. So thank you all. Steve, people can find you at Sensus Fidelium on YouTube. Where else can they find you?
Sensusfidelium.com. That's the main hub, which a couple of new things got added. Daily, I can put the daily sermons up on the front page of the site. So make it your front page, go to front page, well, home page, wherever you call it. But if you want the social media things, they're all over there. So you can get all the Gab and what is it links on there. So we're still in the maintenance. So I know the links aren't 100% working. So they will be. Actually talking to my guy right now. He kind of gave me, what did you do? Okay, I accidentally hit the wrong button earlier.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching this episode, and God bless.